Welcome to another episode of the Offer Mojo Show, where we talk about crafting, scaling, marketing, and selling aligned and profitable offers. I am so excited today to be talking to our guest, Jay Fairbrother. We're going to be talking about a very unique type of offer, which is the Mastermind. What I really, really like about this offer, and this is something that Jay will talk about, is it's your premium container. It's an offer that enables you to attract clients not just for like a 3 month coaching program, but for years. So I just really like this model, and Jay is going to tell us all about it. I don't think that I am by any stretch of the imagination like an expert in masterminds, which is why I wanted to have Jay on with us today to really dive into this model, because I really, really think it's a great model for coaches. So let me formally introduce Jay. Jay Fairbrother is a serial entrepreneur, business coach, and mastermind guru with 30 years of experience starting, buying, and selling seven-figure businesses. Jay's story includes losing everything after the 2010 financial crisis and rising from the shame to shine as the mastermind guy. I love that. Okay. So, anyone who listens to my show knows that I am all about specificity. I teach very much so that the more specific you can get with your offers and your core specialty and your core lane, the more successful you are going to be. Which is exactly why I reached out to you, because I'm like, here's a guy that's after my own heart. He is specific, he has his core lane, and yeah, I just think that the mastermind is a great, just a great type of offer. And I want to dive into this like on a deeper level. But let's just start by hearing like your story. Like, tell me a little bit. I want to hear about like this buying and selling businesses, and then like losing everything, and then leaning into like becoming the mastermind guy. Let's talk about that first.
All right. Thanks, Lori.
Mm-hmm.
So, my entrepreneur journey started 30 years ago. I
Okay.
started my first business and I
Mm-hmm.
was pretty successful pretty quickly, right?
Okay.
To $1 million in revenue within about the first 18 months.
Wow.
And then got
What
stuck.
did you do? Like, what were you doing then?
It was a fundraising business.
Okay.
And we were working with arts organizations and nonprofits, and we got to 1 million pretty quickly, but I got stuck there. I
Okay.
couldn't seem to get beyond that kind of millionish range,
Okay.
and I hired coaches and consultants and read all the business books, and I just couldn't figure out how to scale.
Okay.
25 years ago, I joined my very first mastermind,
Okay.
and that was a mastermind for entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
And we joined simply to grow our businesses and become
Right.
better entrepreneurs, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what happened, I was not expecting,
Okay.
because well, first of all, I knew right away, like even after the first meeting, like it was like, oh my God, I found my people. Like these
That's awesome.
people were like me, they got me, they understood what I was going through.
Right.
But what happened within 5 or 6 months in these meetings, I'm starting to watch grown men break down and cry.
Oh, wow.
They
Yeah.
start to open up and talk
Mm-hmm.
about their messed up marriages and their kid problems
Mm,
and the anxiety and depression that running the business is creating. And it was
right.
like, this is not what we signed up for.
Exactly.
And it wouldn't
But
have
it's
been,
real.
but it was real. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So for me as an adult, it was like my first real experience with that level of human connection, that
Mm-hmm.
kind of vulnerability. And so that was foreign to me. But
Right.
because of that, I was like all in. And I started joining every mastermind I could over the next several years,
Okay.
eventually facilitating and creating them. And as a result, of being in these groups and all
Mm-hmm.
the value that I was taking from learning from other entrepreneurs, going through what I was going through. My first business, I grew to $10 million in revenue and a couple hundred employees. And
Wow.
I
Now,
was,
was this a mastermind type business or something, or
no,
just
this was
as a result of the
as a
masterminds, you grew
result
this
of,
business?
I grew my fundraising business to $10
Okay.
million. And,
Okay. So you got past the million mark and went on to 10 million
yeah,
as a result of masterminds.
largely,
Yes.
absolutely.
Okay. Awesome.
And then I sold that business in 2004,
Okay.
and
Okay.
life was good, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you sell an 8-figure business, life gets pretty good pretty quickly.
Exactly.
So over the next few years, I traveled extensively. I bought 3 other businesses.
Okay.
I invested in a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
And then, if you've ever had that experience when things were going along swimmingly and something out of your control happens, in 2008,
Mm-hmm.
what's now referred to as the Great Recession, the world
Right.
financial crisis began. And by 2012, I had lost everything.
Oh, wow.
So
Wow.
I quite literally went from being a multimillionaire living in a mansion overlooking one of the rivers of Pittsburgh to
Mm.
living in my friend's basement,
Oh, wow.
broke,
That's tough.
bankrupt, divorced, alone, humiliated, and frankly
Oh,
ashamed,
yeah, sure.
because I didn't blame the world financial crisis on my problem. I made all the decisions that led to sitting in that basement, and it was a complete loss of identity.
Mm-hmm.
I had for 15 years built this identity. The
Right.
only way people knew me was this really successful serial entrepreneur.
Right.
And
Right.
there I am sitting in that basement, didn't even own a car.
Mm.
So obviously that was a tough time. And I wish,
Sure. Of
yeah, I
course.
wish I could say I bounced right back out and got back in the game. But for me, that didn't really happen.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Um, I lived literally in the basement for 5 months, but figuratively more like 5 years.
Sure. Right.
And during that time, I quit almost everything that I was involved in. I quit
Okay.
relationships and networking groups. I left some of the masterminds that I was in at the time. I just wanted to hide.
Okay. Right. It's like
But I,
kind of like embarrassed to show up.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the friends and the network I had built, I mean, these are all people who, don't blink an eye at going out to an expensive restaurant or,
Right.
going on a trip or something like that. I couldn't do any of that.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So the one thing that I didn't quit was that very first mastermind that I joined.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And those people during that time period supported me in ways I can't even articulate. Like, it went way beyond a basement to live in and a car I could borrow
Yeah.
for a few months. I mean, they supported me emotionally, spiritually, financially.
Right.
I literally don't think I'd be sitting here today if it weren't for the support of the people in that group. People that I consider brothers and sisters.
Yeah. I love that.
And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so in a
So you've known
very,
these people for, are you still with that same mastermind group today?
no, but I stayed in it for 17 years
17 years. Wow. That's a long time. So
because
yeah, like you
every month
become
I
like,
got value.
yeah, and you become so close, especially if there's other people who are staying in it for a long time as well. If you've
Yeah.
got like churn and turning over all the time, it's harder to build those deep relationships. But boy, it sounds like it was a good mastermind if you stayed in it for 17 years.
Yeah. And it was largely, it wasn't, totally the same people, but mostly the same people. There was a core
Hmm.
group that lasted that entire time. Yeah. So that's what a mastermind can provide, is that kind of longevity.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. So for me, masterminds literally helped my 10x my first business and save my life. And that's
Hmm.
why I'm passionate about what I do.
And so let's talk about the transition then from the bottom, like in the basement, and rock bottom, literally, emotionally, spiritually, to pulling yourself out of that and kind of starting the next business.
So in some ways, the first few years were easier than a few years later. And what I mean by
Okay.
that is when you go through that kind of traumatic experience,
Mm-hmm.
you go into survival mode.
Mm-hmm.
So for the first few years after that crash, after, I was in the basement, it was like every day is just, survival. Like,
Sure.
how do I pay this week's
Right.
bills, this month's bills, like just
Mm-hmm.
trying to get back into the game. And I tried lots of different things. I got involved in startups. I did create a coaching business back then at the time that ran for a few years. I kept getting opportunities, because that's really what being an entrepreneur is mostly about, is recognizing an opportunity and
Mm-hmm.
taking the risk to join it. So I got involved in lots of different things, lots of startups that ended up not panning out the way that you would hope. But
Right.
um,
I love this because it's like sometimes we see like, and I also want to mention, like, because Jay also has, before we get into the mastermind model, he also has a magazine he just started called the Scalable Coach Magazine. And what I really love about this is it's not the how to's, it's not like, oh, 5 tips for doing this. It's like the real, like, nitty gritty stories of entrepreneurship. And there's not enough people that are brave enough to really talk about, like, the real entrepreneurship. I can totally relate. I mean, I pivoted back at the beginning of January after a business for 9 years. And I was so afraid of being seen as a flake. I was so afraid of people like judging me online. I was so afraid to like show up in networking groups and go, "Oh, guess what I'm doing now? I'm an offer strategist." You know what I mean? It was very scary for me because the pictures that are painted online is this glorious glossy, I'm making $100,000 a month, or I scaled to 6 figures in X amount of months. And it's like, wow, really? So I just love that you're vulnerable and honest and transparent about the fact that you started a bunch of different things that didn't pan out, and now here you are.
well, that's a great segue into how I got doing what I'm doing,
Yes.
because when I decided to sort of go back into coaching, and
Mm-hmm.
so I started following the industry model, right? The ascension
Right.
ladder model, which is create
Yes.
a low ticket program and then a signature course, and then maybe someday you can graduate to a high ticket offer.
Right. Right. Mm-hmm.
So in my case, I actually resurrected a pricing program that I had developed like 15 years ago,
Okay.
and I redid that, and now I launched that as my low ticket offer. And I had an opportunity that I got involved in helping coaches with sales training.
Okay.
And so for the first, I don't know, 11 or 12 months that I, sort of put my shingle back out there, I worked with over 100 coaches, giving them sales training, because for
Mm,
35 years, I've been building sales teams, doing sales
right.
training for my own companies and other companies. So then I thought, okay, I'll launch a sales training course for coaches, because I loved
Sure.
working with the coaches, right? That
Mm-hmm.
was
Yeah,
just
me too.
yeah, I love the energy. I love the
Me too.
passion,
Me
the
too.
entrepreneurial spirit, all of that.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm going to create a sales training course for coaches. That'll
Okay.
be my signature course.
Sure.
And I was at this event. It was one of those 3-day virtual events. And the person leading it was talking about, what do you want to be known for?
I
And
ask
at
that
that
question a
event,
lot.
it hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, I
Okay.
didn't, I don't want to be the sales guy. Like,
Ah, got it.
you know,
There we
I,
go. We're out of alignment there. So
it was
it
totally out of
seemed,
alignment.
yeah, it seemed natural because that was your experience. That's what you were good at, but it didn't feel like you inside.
100%.
Right.
So I pivoted that very day, and
Okay.
I never launched the sales course. I
Okay.
still have it, right?
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of that training is I use in my current coaching with
Sure.
clients, but I
Sure.
never launched a sales course. I was like, that day, I was like, I've got to do the mastermind thing. Like,
Hmm.
that's my passion.
Yes.
That's what I believe in. And I also believe that that's the future of the coaching, thought
Hmm.
leader, speaker, healer industry.
Right.
And we can get into that,
Yeah. So
kind of
I
that
was,
is.
yeah, because I was just going to say, like, kind of why, like, why is the mastermind, like, why do you feel like the mastermind model is like the future for like coaches and healers and speakers? Let's talk a little bit deeper about
Yeah.
that.
Well, part of it is because I hung out in this industry for a couple of years while I was
Hmm.
building all this stuff and hiring mentors and buying programs to learn how to do stuff and build a signature course and all that.
Right.
And not only was I struggling, but I'm watching, all these hundreds and hundreds of other people also struggling, right?
Sure. Hmm.
And in my case, I think I did build that mastermind course.
Right.
And
Okay.
it was probably the fourth or fifth time after I launched that course. And I'm looking at my numbers going, what's wrong? What am I doing wrong here?
Hmm.
And I went to my two mentors at the time and showed them my numbers and, said, hey, tell me what I'm doing wrong. And they were like, Jay, you're not doing anything wrong. You're hitting industry averages with these course
Oh,
launches.
okay.
And I'm like, man, I'm
I
going
don't
to have
want
to.
average.
Yeah, and it's not a sustainable living at that point. It's
Sure.
still more like a hobby.
Hmm.
So yeah, I was like, I'll have to launch this course like 8 or 9 times a year just to make a real living. And so one of my biggest regrets is that I didn't do what I teach now, which is to get to the high ticket offer much quicker. And I kind of wasted about 18 months
Hmm.
building these lower level programs and trying to sell them and build the big sales funnel and get all the traffic and
Right.
that kind
Right.
of thing. And in my case, as soon as I launched my high ticket mastermind, I tripled my revenue in the next 6 months.
Wow. Okay. So I'm going to play devil's advocate for just like a little bit because I know people who are listening are thinking, I've tried to sell high ticket. I have a hard time. This is a trust recession right now. People are not saying yes so easily to longer programs or higher ticket programs. And I've even been told by coaches, oh, you have to have a minimum viable offer. You need to have something, a quick win, a mini type offer that people can get into to build trust with you before they're ever going to say, yes to your high ticket offer. Let's break that down a little bit. Are you saying that as a coach that we can go from our freebie offer or like whatever it is straight to a mastermind offer? Like a high ticket 1 year long mastermind offer?
Well, I've done it.
Okay. Sure, the sales guru.
So, here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with having low ticket offers, minimum
Sure.
viable offers, quick win offers, all of
Right.
that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not always necessary. And where people get stuck, I think, where they get on that hamster wheel is because they feel like it's a ladder, right? Well, first I have to have the low ticket offer and then I can do my course and then I can start offering high ticket. So, I came out of a model that I was taught by one of my mentors where
Mm-hmm.
you have your signature course,
Sure.
then you invite people to a 3-day event, virtual or in person. And at the 3-day event is where you sell your high ticket program.
Okay.
And the model that I was taught is that, all the people who just came through your course, they're 70% of the people who will buy your high ticket offer are the people who went through the course.
Okay.
Well, in my case, after I did my first couple of 3-day events, 70% of the people coming into my high ticket offer had never met me before the event.
Interesting. Okay.
So I kind of reversed that model, and to the
Hmm.
point now that I don't really even try to sell my course. I offer it a couple times a year at this point
And this is your
because,
mastermind course.
yes,
Okay. Hmm. Is that like
yeah,
a DIY type program?
yeah, it's a self-paced. It includes some live coaching along with it. Includes a
Okay.
few live coaching, but now it's like an evergreen, self-paced. Very
Mhm.
linear, soup to nuts, everything you
Right.
need to create and launch and build. Um, but I've been so successful at getting people into my client mastermind, which is a year long, high ticket
Hmm.
mastermind from these events that, I don't really need to, work that hard selling the lower ticket items.
Okay. So is you follow the model that your mentor had taught you, which is to have like a 3 day event, and then you from at the end of your 3 day event, you sell into the high ticket. Is that what you're doing? Is it
Yeah.
like 3 full days?
Yeah.
3 full days.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the model that I teach now, which is called the fewer, better, longer mastermind model, the
Uh huh.
concept is
You're a
you
better
can,
looker. Okay. Yes. Hmm.
yeah, you can make more money and have more impact with working with fewer clients. You attract a better quality client, the ones who actually show up and do the
Yes.
work and get the results, and you keep them longer, right?
Hmm.
3 years instead of 3 months.
Sure.
So the reason that, to tie it back into, kind of what we were talking about of, the people who are thinking like, well, I'm not ready for that yet, or I need these other things in place. Like, you do need a downsell for sure, at least
Hmm.
one, right? You need a
Right.
good downsell. That can be your minimum viable offer, your quick win, your short course, your,
Sure.
so as you target people coming into your world and you can target them towards your high ticket program,
Hmm.
hopefully a mastermind, then all the people who haven't earned your trust yet,
Right.
haven't, that I call it, from moving them from no like and trust to no love and trust, right? They
Okay.
have to
Hmm.
know, love, and trust you to a certain level to jump into that high ticket, longer term program. There are going to be people that aren't going to do that in 3 days, or
Sure.
aren't going to
Hmm.
do that from any one of these other strategies, a summit
Right.
or a challenge or a course. Or
Right.
so you want to have at least one good downsell that you can offer to
Hmm.
those people. That downsell could be a one-on-one coaching package. It could be a
Hmm.
course. It could be, VIP day type thing.
Right.
So you
Hmm.
want to have that ready to go,
Right.
but you don't necessarily need all of those steps and to get more quickly to the high ticket offer.
Okay. Okay. So, um, I have a couple of questions. Let's talk about the 3 day event first, because we have another. I have another podcast episode coming up, but actually, it would have been past. We're recording now for kind of future, but she is talking about like using paid events. I'm assuming that your 3 day event is a paid event that people like invest in um, before they go into your high ticket. Do you run it as a free event, like a free 3 day event?
Yeah, so a little of both. So I
Okay.
use a low ticket strategy for my 3 day events, which are
Hmm.
virtual. I mean, obviously, if
Okay.
they're in person, you need to be charging enough to cover
Yes.
costs, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So I run a model where my, basic ticket, and I've played with these numbers a little bit,
Hmm.
but right now I'm running, the basic ticket is $47 for to attend the 3 days live, and then
Oh
there's a
wow. Okay.
VIP ticket that includes some extra workshops and bonuses and recordings
Hmm.
and all that. But frankly, again, sort of against what the industry is telling people, I've been pretty successful. Like, I will give away free tickets to certain JV partners or in certain
Hmm.
summits or giveaways, or $1 tickets. And I have also actually gotten a really good show up rate from those
Okay.
free and $1 tickets, way above industry average.
Okay.
Um, And so there's no magic to that. So when
Hmm.
I am working with my clients, I don't prescribe that they have to do a 3-day event or that they
Sure.
have to do $1 tickets or $197 tickets.
Right. Exactly.
There- because there's no cookie cutter approach to this. So
Right. It's
what
kind
I
of what works for their audience or whatever, or for them.
and for them and their
Right.
superpower and genius, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So what I do teach is that you've got to have some kind of an event which is longer than a webinar or a workshop, right?
Okay.
You're not going to sell a 10, 15, $20,000 program in a 90-minute workshop.
Agreed.
So
Yes.
what I do is teach them how to do a half day event, a 1-day event, or a 3-day event, because the
Okay.
structure of running those events and what you do during the event doesn't change whether it's a half day, 1 day, or 3-day, right?
Okay.
And then, obviously, again, if you're running a half day event, it's less likely you can sell something as high a price as you can if it's a 3-day event, right? So
Sure. Yeah,
there
because
is
you're building more and more and more trust, like every minute that you're spending with them, the more value
absolutely,
you're giving them, the more you're showing who you are, you're human and connecting with them, the higher the trust is.
yeah, exactly,
Right.
yeah.
Okay, so what I wanted to talk about, let's talk about what a mastermind like really is versus group coaching, because everybody has like an idea of what they think a mastermind is. They've either been in a mastermind or people have talked about masterminds or like whatever. And I've seen them structured like so differently. Like, for instance, when I think about like a mastermind, I think about just that, a mastermind. Like lots of different brains like coming together to form a mastermind. And so you're in there as a community, you are sharing your specific challenges, and the mastermind helps to resolve those challenges. But I've seen people call masterminds, and they add all this stuff, like all of these like courses and guest experts coming in and coaching programs, and like it's just like, wow, this doesn't feel like a mastermind.
Yeah. So I would say, somewhere 70-75% of what is out there in the thought leader, coach, healer, speaker
Hmm.
industry that's labeled a mastermind is really just glorified group coaching.
Right.
The mastermind label, makes it a little sexier and maybe they can charge more money for it, but
Hmm.
it is not. Most of the things out there that labeled as masterminds are not going back to the original Napoleon Hill concept. He coined the term mastermind, and it is
Right.
exactly as you just described. It's tapping into the collective experience, collective
Hmm.
wisdom, collective knowledge in the
Yes.
room.
Hmm.
It's not just the one to guru relationship where people show up, pray to the altar of the guru.
Right.
There's Q&A, maybe a hot seat for good measure, and then we'll
Right.
call
Right.
that a mastermind, right?
Right. Exactly.
The difference is it's about building the relationships with the people in the program, with each
Hmm.
other, and tapping into that collective experience and wisdom. So why this is so important, and why I'm going to circle back to one of your earlier questions about why masterminds as a high ticket offer and why they're so valuable. We're, this AI age that we live in,
Hmm.
it is creating isolation and
Yeah.
loneliness, right?
Yes. Hmm.
I mean, in 2024, the World Health Organization has created an entire commission to address the global crisis of
Wow.
social isolation and
Hmm.
loneliness, right?
Yep. Hmm.
Every single day, the value of content and training and information is going down,
Hmm.
because right now AI can train you on anything you want in the world for free in minutes, right?
Yes. Yes.
So
Hmm.
where is that going to leave courses and, content-based training in a few years? Why are people going to continue to pay for that?
Right. When
You
they
know,
can get all of that information. And I think also, with all of the content being created by AI, a lot of people are kind of like checking out of that. I mean, I've noticed like social media is just like, oh my God, if I have to read like another like social media like post. I mean, it's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like you have to do it because you need to have like brand awareness and you need to be out there, but it's like how do we like set ourselves apart in this AI age? And but yet we have to like use AI because it's a tool that everybody is using for speed and ease and like okay, sure, I could spend hours and hours and hours like writing a blog post or whatever, or I can work with AI to say, okay, here's what I want to write about. And here's, kind of like the basic outline. This is what we need to touch on. And AI can like write it for you and you can just like edit like, okay, no, I don't believe in that strategically. No, we're not going down that lane, and I just work with it. But I think back to the days when I was like writing everything like myself. And so it's just like this, okay, we use AI for speed and ease and everything else and to kind of keep up with like this fast-paced world, but at the same time then we're like worried about like losing our authenticity.
and that's a great segue into why masterminds are, in my opinion, we need in the world right now,
Hmm. Right.
because we're losing authenticity, because we're losing that personal human connection.
Right.
You know, if you think about, I'm sure a lot of people listening have gone through a course or a group coaching program, and at the end of the program, you never even really met the people going through the program with you. Like,
Right.
yeah, you maybe shared a breakout room with somebody for a few minutes, or you felt like you got to know the extroverts because they were always on stage asking
They're
questions,
always talking.
but you didn't form any kind of real relationship. And
Right.
so, whether you're going to create your own Napoleon Hill style small cohort mastermind, right?
Hmm. When you say
Or,
small,
yeah,
say more. Like, what is like an ideal number?
yeah, I use the number 8 to 14. If
Okay.
that's your goal, is to create that sort of intimate cohort style.
Hmm.
And the reason I use those numbers is below 8 and it's hard to get the diversity of all the collective wisdom and that kind of thing and tap into that. And above 14, you start to need like a 2, 3, 4 hour meeting to allow that many people to have a voice. Like, one of the
Right.
things that in a mastermind meeting, in every single meeting, every single person should have a voice and participate. And
Yeah.
that again is a distinction between like group coaching and courses,
Yes, it
because
totally is.
in a mastermind, not all the time necessarily, but at certain points you are, asking a question or having a group discussion, and you literally go around the room and get everyone's input. It's not just
Mm,
who wants to contribute to the conversation, right?
right.
And there's facilitation
Sure. Of
techniques and
course.
tricks to
Of
do that,
course.
to pull people into the conversation, to get people to feel safe.
Right.
Part of the key in creating an effective mastermind is creating that psychological safety, like in that
Yeah.
first mastermind that I talked about, where people will start to open up and talk about their real shit, not just
Hmm.
the surface level kinds of stuff that we hear,
Right.
So yeah, the small cohort, that's one style.
Hmm.
Frankly, a lot of my clients create what I call a hybrid, which
Okay.
is a cross between group coaching and that small cohort mastermind.
Okay. Can you talk about that or?
Yeah, so the hybrid concept is because as coaches, mentors, thought leaders,
Hmm.
people still often depends on what you're doing, but they still want our expertise. They want our coaching and mentoring, our and maybe even our content as part of the
Yes.
program.
Right.
But if you add on to that the masterminding element, where now they feel like, oh, I'm in this group of people who have mutual respect for each other, who help each other, who
Hmm.
collaborate, who support each other, both as cheerleaders and as providing tough love.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like, that's the part that's missing, right?
Right.
And when you add that to, what would be a group coaching program, that is what I call the hybrid, and takes it to another level. That
Yeah.
also enables you to grow it a little bigger than that 8 to 14 as a hybrid, because you're not positioning it as it's all masterminding. It's a combination of
I
the
see.
coaching.
So
Yeah.
so people kind of see it as a little bit more valuable when it's like a hybrid, because there's both the coaching and the expertise, but also the masterminding element.
Yeah. So when you're positioning this as a high ticket offer for your
Hmm.
to, as your revenue engine for your business,
Right.
people are going to join it primarily because of you, right? that
Yes.
part that part doesn't really change.
Sure. Hmm.
Where the difference is that people will stay in the program because of the relationships they've now built with all
Built.
the other
Yes.
participants.
Yes.
So that's how when you create a mastermind, hopefully you get an initial commitment of 6 months or 12 months.
Hmm. Hmm.
Not that you can't try to start with a beta of 3 or 4 months to
Right.
first run, but at the end of 6 or 12 months, unlike a course or group coaching program, it doesn't end. That's just renewal time.
Yes. Okay. And
So
so is it?
people,
Oh, so uh, mastermind, to me, it seems like it would be like a start and an end, right? It's not like evergreen where people can just come in at any time, because that kind of breaks the, I don't know, like the cohesion of the group. Is that
yeah,
true?
yeah. So there are different ways that you can
Okay.
structure it so that
Okay.
you're not fixed on that cohort. Everybody starts at the same time and you only bring in new people at the same time. There are ways to do a
Okay.
more open enrollment style,
Mm-hmm.
but if it's a revolving door, you're
Yes.
moving more towards group coaching than, right, Matt. So
Right.
for instance, my client mastermind, I do 3 events a year. So basically we have 3 entry points into the
Okay. Three
program.
times that you come in.
Yeah.
Okay.
And at those entry points, I do very deliberate things, beyond just everybody introduces themselves and that kind of thing. But I do some very deliberate things to integrate the new people into the
Okay.
existing group,
Got
right?
it.
Because again, you've got to build the relationships and you've got to create the psychological safety.
Right.
When you bring somebody new into an existing group where that safety has been created, everybody
Mm-hmm.
takes a step back. It
Yes.
changes the group dynamic, right?
Yes, it does. Mm-hmm.
It's like the white blood cell entering the red
Yeah.
stream, right? Do we
Right.
trust this person? Are they like
Right.
us? Yeah.
Yes.
So if that's the part about being intentional in terms of how
Mm-hmm.
you structure the program, so that you're always working on the group dynamic as it evolves and grows.
What do you do, like, if, and I don't know if this happens to you or not, but like, what do you do if, like, the group just keeps like morphing and just like getting bigger and bigger because you're so amazing, and you're like, opening this up 3 times a year, and people don't want to leave, and they just keep coming? Like, do you ever like break into like sub masterminds, or like, I
Well,
know I'm
first,
asking all
no,
the questions that you
no.
don't want to answer, right?
Oh no, I love the question because
Okay.
it's a good problem to have.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course it is.
yeah, yeah. So that's again some of the nuances of building
Hmm.
these types of programs, right? It's
Right.
not just like, oh, okay, I learned how to do it and now I'm good, right? because
Yes.
you face these kinds of challenges as the group grows,
Sure.
but also as it evolves. Like, that's one of the things I love most about the mastermind concept, is that it's not as linear as other types of programs.
Okay.
So it can evolve. It
hmm
can morph into something that you didn't even intend at the beginning, because that's where the members take it and you want to take it and you grow
That's
with it
true.
and you change with it.
That's
So
true.
you're right though. It gets trickier the larger it goes. So either
Yes.
you can start to break into a couple of groups.
hmm
You know, I'm this is what I've done for 25 years, so I'm
Right.
pretty good at letting the thing grow to a decent size and still maintaining that intimacy.
Okay.
Like,
Oh,
I
good for
have,
you. Good for
yeah,
you.
I
Because
mean, I
I
can.
know me, like, I'm an introvert by nature. And one of the main reasons I don't ever, like, I don't know if I've ever, I think I was in one group coaching program and it was my last one because it's like, okay, I get zero like attention here because I'm a listener. I just sit and quietly listen to everybody, and I don't ever like speak up necessarily in a group, or I get like, teeny tiny little bit of support. And that's why I always said, nope, I'm a one on one girl. Like, if I want support, I want one on one like attention because that's what works for me as an introvert. So
I
yeah.
get it because I'm an introvert too.
Okay.
Um, and it all revolves around creating the container,
Yes.
because one of the reasons introverts don't speak up is for fear of being judged.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's part of the container. And what I mean by the container, it's setting the expectations, it's setting the culture, it's setting the protocols, and developing that mutual respect for each other through the process, and
Sure.
constantly reminding people of the confidentiality and the mutual
Mm-hmm.
respect and the right. So that's, that example that I gave, that first mastermind, like, no one was going to open up like they did in the first few months.
Right.
It took
Mm-hmm.
5 or 6 months for
Sure.
people to start to open up, to feel that safety, to be able to
Yes.
speak up and talk about what was really going on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that's the beauty of these kinds of programs and these kinds of groups,
And
is
it's
that you.
also, I think the beauty of it is when we talk about being introverts, I think what really appeals to me about the mastermind model is the depth and the intimacy. Like, I want to, like, I'm really good like connecting on like one-on-one or even small groups, and I want like depth in my conversations. I want to be able to talk deeply. I want to be able to be intimate. Like, I don't want like surface level type
Yep,
interaction.
yep.
That's what I think I really like about the mastermind as well. Is just the depth and the intimacy that you can create in that group. That type of a model.
Yeah, 100%. And usually we're not getting that depth and intimacy often with our own families, or, our friendships, or
Right.
people who aren't entrepreneurs, who don't
Yeah.
understand what we go through and how, what the
Exactly.
feelings involved. And yeah, yeah. So it's just, to me, it really is the best model that you can create to really scale your business. And it's also a
hmm
great model for people who hate selling, because you may not at the beginning be in this position, but you can get to a position where it's like, I don't know, I don't have to convince you to join my mastermind. Tell me why I should let you in.
Okay. I like that. Yeah.
But seriously, the one
Yeah.
of the key differences between this type of program and the others is that you don't allow anyone who can write a check into the program.
Sure.
You
Yes.
literally vet people,
Yes.
because you don't want to bring that white blood cell into the red
hmm
stream because you made a mistake and let the wrong person in.
Oh gosh, yes.
Yeah.
I totally love that.
We
So,
do an application process,
hmm
and that's what I use in my client mastermind. You can't just write the check and jump in. You go through an application process,
Right.
and yeah.
Yeah, makes total sense. So, everyone who's listening out here, if the mastermind model is something that is intriguing to you and you want to start to like just dip your toe in, learn a little bit more about Jay and how he thinks, how he helps people or helps coaches and speakers and thought leaders create these masterminds, like what's the best way to get in touch with you or to just kind of get a taste? I know your event is coming up. I can't remember, February something. Is that right? What's
Yeah.
what's the
So,
your next like 3 day event that people can come to?
I think the next one, by the time this airs, will be February. It'll be kind of the end of February.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the 3 day event is truly a great place to start,
Okay.
because what we do there is we help you figure out what is the right type of mastermind. We help
Mm-hmm.
you figure out who are those right people to invite
Okay.
into it. We help you build a simple funnel so that you don't need thousands of leads and
Right.
all the complexity and that kind of thing. We help you build exclusivity into it, help you develop. You walk out literally with a vision map or a roadmap
I
for how
love
you
that.
can create
I
this.
want to sign up for that. I totally want to sign up for that event. So to get on your email list and find out about so that you don't miss like any like email updates to know like when that event is coming out, like what's the best way to go to jfairbrother.com and
So my main website is
Six Figure
sixfiguremasterminds.com.
Mastermind. Okay.
But honestly, I'm
Mastermind.
very easy to find on the internet, on
Okay.
LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram or YouTube. Like
Right.
any one
Okay.
of those, you can find me. Reach out by email is fine. I do master classes occasionally that sort
Okay.
of a more general introduction. The 3 day event is a great place to start. The 3 day event, whether you're a beginning business person or a multi six seven figure person, I have both come to this event and both
Okay.
sets walk out with pages of notes and usually a new direction and a lot of clarity around how they can really build their business and scale it.
Okay. Perfect. And then also, don't forget about the Scalable Coach magazine, which is Jay's kind of new thing. I am in the second issue, which is coming out very soon from the time that we are recording. But by the time this episode comes out, there will be probably at least 5 or 6 episodes. And I love this magazine. So that's
Yeah.
scalablecoachmagazine.com, right?
It comes out monthly, and
Monthly.
if you get in my world at all, you will get notices to subscribe to the magazine and get the monthly issues. And as you said earlier, it's all stories. It's not
Okay.
like
Yes.
the long how-to articles.
Right. We don't need any more of
No.
that. We need like connection, like you said, connection and just like realness and authenticity and just knowing that we are not isolated and we are not alone in this world as entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So I will drop all of the links for connecting with Jay in the show notes and any parting words you want to leave with listeners.
If you are interested in this concept of having a
Mhm.
program which is driven by creating more human connection and
Mhm.
intimacy and safety, and really developing relationships, to me, that leads to better client transformation.
Yeah,
And that's
agreed.
really, from the people that I work with, that's what
Hmm.
we're driven by, not by
Yes.
amassing some big fortune, but by helping people and changing lives. And to me, this model is a better model to do that than a lot of what is out there in the industry.
Agreed. 100% agreed. So thank you again, Jay, for being on the show. And I'll see you out on the internet.
Thanks, Lori.